that's my dinner for today. And my diet tip is this stuff. I'll show you. There's it's hard to read because there's so much mess on it, but you can see that there's no carbohydrates there at all. And so that's nice, and no fat or anything like that. So we might get around to this, but really James is going to be talking about Creedence lyrics, and he plans on reviewing Catcher in the Rye, the book. So I don't know if I'll get around to anything else.
We'll do movies after we finish the
Well, it's okay. We can do that whenever. It could be days from now. It doesn't matter.
We'll do Catcher in the Rye days.
So James is going to review or analyze Creedence lyrics, and the one he's doing is on the other side. It's at the bottom. It's or do you have more to talk about looking out my back door?
Well, we didn't finish it out.
Oh, okay. James wants to talk about looking out my back door. So split the screen, pull up the lyrics in another window for looking out my back door, Creedence.
I think this
And after that, we'll talk about Who'll Stop the Rain. So you might want to get that ready too. So anyway.
Not my back door. I think it was released 1970. It was a single, and it was, I think, on Cosmos Factory. Just got home from Illinois, locked the front door. Oh boy, got to sit down, take off the rest of it, which imagination sets in.
You're going to have to talk way louder. They're not going to hear you past the wind.
Oh yeah. Looking out my back door. Just got home from Illinois, locked the front door. Oh boy, got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. Imagination sets in. Pretty soon I'm singing. Do do do. Looking out my back door. There's a giant doing cartwheels, a statue wearing high heels. They say. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Dinosaur Victrola, listening to Buck Owens. Looking out my back door. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Won't you take a ride on the flying spoon? Do-do-do-do-do. Wondrous apparition provided by a magician. Do-do-do. Looking out my back door. Forward troubles, Illinois. Lock the front door. Oh boy. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Bother me tomorrow, today I'll buy no sorrows. Do, do, do. I think this might be a little bit of a parody of the psychedelia that was going down. Around that time, this is 1970, if I've got the date correct. And he had trouble, so he did, with the rhythm. Just got home from Illinois.
Dogs are going to love that.
The front door. It's not the front door, it's the front door. And it's not oh boy, it's oh boy. So first line, screwed up the rhythm twice. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. You got that roughly. Imagination sets in. Imagination sets in. So screwed that up. Pretty soon I'm singing. Looking out my back door. Looking out my back door. You got that rhythm right there. There's a giant doing cartwheels. Okay, good. A statue wearing high heels. He says, no, it's high heels. Look at all the happy creatures. So he screwed that one up. Look, he said, look at all the happy creatures. Yeah, it's not a bad screw up, but it should be happy creatures, not happy creatures. Dancing on the lawn. Because the creatures are what is emphasized there. Weird creatures. Dinosaur Victrola. Dinosaur Victrola. It's really Dinosaur Victrola. It's got the rhythm wrong a little bit there. Listening to Buck Owens. Good. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Won't you take a ride? So you got that. Won't you take a ride? He sings. But it should be, won't you take a ride on the flying spoon? Wondrous apparition provided by magician. I think we got the rhythm right. Forward troubles, Illinois. So it's not forward troubles, Illinois. I never could pick what that was up. You didn't pick it up either. It doesn't make much sense, and the rhythm's not right. lock the front door. Oh boy, again, front door's got wrong. We were talking yesterday about what that means. I think when he hit the porch, coming back from Illinois, maybe that was the last stop, and on a tour or something like that. Yeah. Would you stop in Illinois? Well, Chicago is the biggest city. And weirdly enough, it's not the capital, but there you go. So it's like maybe there's some bills there or something like that. Maybe he'd like to send those bills back to Illinois or something like that. Put them on the road. Look at all the happy creatures. So he's screwed up happy creatures. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on the lawn. Yeah, he gets it. Dancing on the lawn. That's okay. Bother me tomorrow. Good. Today I'll buy no sorrows. Good. Looking on my back. So yeah, he was a young pup when he was putting this together, and usually he was a little bit better with the rhythm, or at least with some of his better songs. Here's the one that I think maybe is best that she. He's actually being poetic here, and in the modern missense of the word, but like you can be poetic with this kind of way when you're writing prose. So this "Who'll Stop the Rain," I believe, is on the same album, Cosmos Factory, 1970. Long as I remember, the rain been coming down, clouds of mystery pouring, confusion on the ground. Good men through the ages, trying to find the sun. And I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain. I went down Virginia, should be to Virginia, seeking shelter from the storm. Got up in the fable, I watched the tower grow. 5-year plans and new deals, he says. Should maybe be new deals, but we'll talk about that later. Wrapped in golden chains. And I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain. Heard the singers playing, all we cheered for more. The crowd had rushed together, trying to keep it warm. Still the rain kept pouring, falling on my ears. And I wonder, still I wonder, who will stop the rain. So you'll notice, like I was kind of joking, or repeating a joke critically way back when, Creedence never really had like a year wide or something like that a #1 hit. They had #1 hits, but they were outdone by other things. This guy said they always hit #3. I'm going, wow, lots of people were killed to be able to do that or whatever. Who'll Stop the Rain? It's a refrain, not a chorus. You don't have to have a chorus to affect people, okay? A refrain is like a one-line thing that's repeated. Lodi. Oh Lord, stuck in Lodi again. A refrain. Even looking out my back door, it's a refrain. Do, looking out my back door. And that one sold like hotcakes. It wasn't one of my favorite songs when it came out. Never liked rockabilly that much after, what was it? The Beatles, I'm a Loser. Eventually that sounded country to me, but rockabilly was a mixture of country and rhythm and blues. When it came out, it wasn't country. Country people hated it. Country fans, especially people putting country up. Johnny Cash was originally rockabilly. Look it up. Elvis Presley for a little while. Okay, so what's this song about? It seems a little bit cryptic, or as the critics, so many critics, they say it's obtuse. Is that what they say? Yeah, no. Obtuse means like it's kind of blunted or something like that. Someone's stupid when they're obtuse. The lyrics are maybe somewhat obscure or something like that. Let's about the first verse is a general statement. Who'll stop the rain? The rain is used metaphorically here, okay? Second verse is about the New Deal. Notice how I said New Deal. Now, why did let him get away with 5-year plans and New Deals? Because there was something called a Fair Deal, I think it was. Was that Truman? like with John F. Kennedy, their catchphrase, or not so much a phrase, but term, was New Frontier or whatever. What I said about Ronald Reagan back then is, well, there was a New Deal under FDR, the Fair Deal under Truman, and the Raw Deal under, for the average person, worker especially, the Raw Deal under Ronald Reagan, and it's continued, it's probably like under Bush Senior, rotten deal, and under Bush Jr. should have been, the voters should have said no deal. But there you go. And then under under Trump, it's what can you come up with? Stupid chips talking about continuously about taking over Greenland by force, but saying, like he's setting a deal. Well, like the art of the deal, like we'll take you over by force, but just sell it to us. Stupid chimp. Anyway, so the second verse is about the New Deal. So it's about the 30s and the 40s and stuff like that. Very successful. You might not like it. You on the right wing, oh man, 5-year, yeah, they used the 5-year plan idea that was taken from the Soviets, from what I can tell. But it actually worked. Right wingers say, oh yeah, left wingers say, oh, what saved the United States from the Depression of the 30s was the expenditure in World War II. Folks, expenditures, when you put them into military stuff, it just gets sunk into the ground, it gets blown up. When you look at the actual stats, you'll find by the time the United States was in World War II, the economy had achieved the heights that it had achieved in 1929. And weirdly enough, 1929 was considered this great big peak, but the peak there was no higher than the peak the Americans achieved after the end of World War I. Okay? You don't believe me? That's good. Look it up. Do a little bit of spade work or whatever. Do a little bit of work, and you'll find out that I'm right. Okay? I've looked at the stats and studied them. Okay? So, this guy's saying, Fogarty's saying, yeah, it just didn't work out that well. Wrapped in golden chains, he says. It's kind of wrapped up. Didn't work out. The 50s came after that, under Eisenhower. 3 recessions. Count them. You guys who think Eisenhower, on the left, too. I had a relative who thought that Eisenhower was better than John Kennedy and Bill Clinton. That would be understood for this idiot. But at any rate, Eisenhower had 3 recessions in 8 years. You have to almost work to do that. No, not really. Because you see, that was the pattern before the New Deal. The pattern was to have, it didn't matter if it was Democrats or Republicans, right wing or left wing, you'd have 3 recessions in roughly 8 years, or let's say 3 in a decade. Somewhere around there. That was just par for the course. Then every so occasionally, like in the 90s and 70s, you had really a disastrous depression. They used to call everything depressions. The things that we call recessions. So even what happened in 2008, this huge disaster that we're still suffering the after effects from, it's called the Great Recession. No, it was a not so great depression. It's a depression. That's euphemism. You see, euphemism. Or don't see, I don't care. But at any rate, and then what's this last verse about? It sounds pretty cryptic, or there. Some people say the best performance at Woodstock was done by Creedence Clearwater. I don't think it made it to film. John Fogerty was a crusty kind of individual, as was Neil Young. Neil Young refused. He performed at Woodstock with Crosby, Stills, and Nash on the electric kind of stuff. Well, you won't see it on film because apparently it refused to be filmed. You know, the group's playing, you can hear them and all that sort of stuff if you get the extended version of Woodstock. But there you go, across the individual. I gather you can't hear any of or see any of Creedence's performance. Apparently when they came off stage, the people were just wowed because they were so well rehearsed. They woodshedded even when they reached the top. And Fogerty was the guy who was driving, not Tom Fogerty, but John Fogerty, the younger brother of that pair, and he was chewing them out. I don't know if they were playing in the rain. A lot of people played in miserable conditions. They actually shut down things for the big thunderstorm because they didn't want people to be electrocuted on stage. But at any rate, heard the singers playing, so he was there listening to some stuff too. How we cheered for more. The crowd had rushed together, trying to keep warm. Still the rain kept pouring, falling on my ears. Now it's kind of drowning out things, in more senses than one. And I wonder, who will stop the rain? This is 1970 when they put this out. Woodstock was the second half of '69. It was in August sometime, as I recall. And yeah, I lived through that era. I wasn't there at Woodstock. But, about the only, like compare and contrast this with, he's saying, this ain't going to change things. The 30s didn't change things. Good men through the ages, trying to find the sun. Things don't change. So compare and contrast that with Joni Mitchell. She wasn't at Woodstock. This guy was, okay? So I don't know, was she being interviewed by Dick Cavett or Johnny Carson or something like that? So she skipped out on the whole thing. Came upon a child of God. He's walking along the road. I asked him, where are you going? This he told me. No. He told me this. Okay, don't do that old-fashioned thing. That's inversion. I'm going down to Yasgur's farm. So that was like people saying, Yasgur, Yasgur is I don't know, was he trained as a lawyer? He was a pretty rich guy, but anyway, he's a cool guy. Going down to Yasgur's farm, going to join in a rock and roll band. Going to camp out on the land, try to set my soul free. Well, we are stardust. We are golden. We got to get ourselves back to the garden. Look at the film. And, like some idiot like Abby Hoffman or Jerry Rubin was saying, we could learn a lot of things about improving things by studying what happened at Woodstock. Yeah, you never have another thing like that. It was a disaster. It was declared a disaster area. And if it weren't for the U.S. Army bringing over supplies, if it weren't for, doctors, some of them fairly square, helping out and stuff like that, there would have been a lot of people dead in that situation. And the key thing is looking at the after effects. People had cleared out by the time I guess it must have been Monday morning or something like that. Jimi Hendrix is playing to a crowd of dozens, or maybe I'm exaggerating. But look at the aftermath. What? Now, aftermath means after harvest, okay? It's after mowing, actually. Health is Heil F. Youth is young F. Stuff like that. Math is after mowing. You put a TH at the end, okay? After mowing. And you look at it, there's a few people helping clean things up. And some of it's not that clean because they're chucking them into fires, making bonfires hither, thither, and yon. One of the most disgusting scenes from that is some guys found some watermelon and they've been picking up this garbage and I think they're using knives to dig into the watermelon and going, I wouldn't want to be eating anything after I've been touching stuff there. It was a disaster area afterwards. One guy, they were interviewing a person who had a farm there. People were stomping across his farm. And he said, what do you think? He was being interviewed. And the movie was pretty you know, like it showed things. It showed the big porta potties and stuff like that. And the guy, an old guy, he's a good guy, you know. Wow, really, I'd be grumpy as heck, but you know, he's cleaning the stuff out. He seems pretty cheery. He probably made a fortune, but anyway. At least as much of a fortune as make doing that kind of job. He's cleaning this stuff out, and yeah. So this old guy, it's the ultimate thing, you know. He's an old guy, owns a farm. He says I've had a whole hay crop ruined, and I don't know if insurance would cover that. You know what insurance agencies are like. You say what? You're insured for accident. You're insured for, you know, whatever, but you're not insured for this, you know. He said, what do I think of it? What do I think of it? What do you think of it? He said it's a SH word, Y mess. And that's what it was. Eh? Now, the only other person is another crusty individual. He was actually there, Neil Young. And I think I'll roll another number for the road. I feel able to get under any load. Yeah, and one of the lines goes, I'm a million miles away from that helicopter day. I don't think I'll be going back again. Something or other. I can't remember how it ends up. Maybe it's not the best rhyme or whatever. Don't think I'll be going back. Something like the suggestion is anytime soon. You can see in the film, I think they've helicoptered in Janis Joplin with her latest Light of Love, some anorexic woman or something like that. She might have been the one who wrote Exquisite. Did it go out there, or is that something else? Did the battery go? Okay. Anyway, so the rhythm, you know, like he hardly screws anything up. You say good men through the ages ordinarily, but good men, he's emphasizing the good, that sort of stuff. The rhythm is pretty well all there. It's simple, you know. It's da 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 da. And then he's got it's like a trimeter, and it's feminine ending at the end of the first hemistick or half line or something like that, and he's basically got it. Primary accent, secondary accent, primary accent, with the second hemistick. Primary accent, secondary accent, primary accent. If you can't handle something better, like do looking out the back door, simplify, okay? And listen, for Pete's sake, listen to the sound that you're putting out and you're trying to put lyrics to, and then get the accents right. Don't go around doing back door or front door. Say back door. You can say front door if you're saying, well, I looked at the back door, but there was nothing there, so I looked at the front door. Then when there's a distinction, then you accent the first syllable. Ordinarily, it's door. In North American usage, from what I can tell. No? But try to get the secondary accents. You know, try to get it so, you know, you got the primary accents, particularly coming down on the first beat of a four-time song, and get a something like a primary accent. Maybe we'll call it a secondary accent on the third beat, and then you can have let's call them tertiary accents on the second and fourth beat. But get it right. You know, like people woodshed. Oh, you know, getting this guitar sound and stuff like that. And then, I write this song in 15 minutes. Yeah, it shows. And you know, I don't want to spend much more than 15 minutes with the average pop song put out after the Beatles. I love the Beatles. Don't get me wrong. They're the best ever. It's like I asked a guy who's a 90s type of guy, a university prof. I said, so who's the best rock band ever? Soundgarden, Nirvana, and Pearl Jam, I think was. And he said, so he's about Pauline's age. He said, come on, James, you know better. It's the Beatles. I said, yeah, it was like, yep. When I say yep, nothing more needs to be said. That's all I said, yep. But the big trouble with the Beatles, from what I can tell, is not just that they broke up and didn't keep improving and stuff like that. The big trouble is they were a bad influence on all these idiots that came after them and say, man, oh man, rock and rollers can write their own lyrics. No, they can't, because you're not John Lennon and you're not even Paul McCartney. Yeah? So I think I've covered that.
All right. So you didn't mention the tower though. Tower of Babel.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they checked this in here. I mean, this guy. I don't know if he did much
and
reading.
You were talking
but
about the.
I watched the tower grow. You know, I think this is more about the Tennessee Valley Authority, even though he's talking about Virginia. Maybe he jumped over the Appalachians, or however they're mispronounced in the United States. But you know, I watched the tower grow. I think it's sometimes they have towers on, or they used to have on big hydroelectric projects. So I think that's what's about. But it's the Tower of Babel. He watched it grow. What happened to the Tower of Babel? He's mixing it up with a flood, but that's okay. You know, like what happened after the Tower of Babel, according to the biblical account, is the languages got confused and stuff like that. But he's, you know, it's okay. That's poetic. He's mixing the two up in a poetic kind of way. You know, like, yeah.
All right. Well, we have 3 minutes, so I'm going to try to get through as much of this as I can.
Yeah.
Leave that
okay.
there. It's on dried leaves. It'll be fine.
Okay.
The 9 Lives of Christmas. We really like this one. It was, it's a Hallmark, so romance, whatever. But, yeah, it was unexpectedly delightful. The acting was good. The story was good.
Shockingly, let's say shocking for me, delightful.
Yeah.
No?
So definitely
Hallmark.
a must-watch. It's yeah, I mean, it's not so believable. You have the firemen talking to each other.
Oh,
like
that was awful.
Like their curls or whatever, right?
Girly talk. You know, like, you really got to, you know, like, you got to get serious about women. You know, like, stop playing the field. Oh man, firemen especially. They'd be like on a sports team. Oh, who did you? Well, we'll say mess around with last night. They wouldn't be saying that. They'd be using a 4-letter word or something like that. So, no, they'd be celebrating his kind of sort of, or letting him celebrate his conquests and so on and so forth. Yeah, that was very
but still, we really liked it. The Jesse Stone collection, we really enjoyed this too. The only reason this really lost marks for me, because you get to see some great scenery in this. It's mostly filmed in Nova Scotia, and so there's sometimes you can see Peggy's Cove and stuff, which is totally beautiful. And,
you actually saw it, okay. Lucky you.
I know.
We've seen it in real life.
I mean, you're watching Tom Selleck, which that's not bad either. But the mysteries, sometimes they jumped around a little bit and you're like, okay, they should have fleshed this out better or whatever. But
they're more like real mysteries.
They really are, yeah.
Because there's not much car chases. And
nothing like that. So
sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's cool. So the only problem I really had with this 9-movie collection set was the fact that they didn't put them in order. Whoever made this box
what was
set,
that about?
They're jumping all over the place. So, whereas the movies, they're sort of like Midsummer Murders or whatever. They're told in a certain sequence, right? So that was unfortunate.
And there is backstory here.
Yeah.
Like Hercule Poirot, it's timeless. Yeah. You know, he's actually older, maybe in the first Hercule Poirot thing, than he is near the end. He's portrayed as an old guy. Well, that was like 1920 something, very early 20s.
So North Pole, this is a great kids Christmas movie. I didn't expect to like it, but the kids even, they were okay.